Title: The Fire That Wouldn't Die. A story of justice, betrayal, and rebellion. In the heart of Pinewood, a southern city where the humidity clung to your skin like guilt and the law held more weight than truth, 17-year-old Malik Townsend stood trembling inside the courtroom of Judge Terrence Holcomb. The walls were thick with silence, broken only by the laughter that rolled off Holcomb's tongue like thunder off a storm cloud. His brother, Marcus Townsend, had just been sentenced to life without parole for a crime he didn't commit. Malik wasn't a lawyer. Not officially, but he'd been studying law since he was 13, reading court transcripts in the back of the city library while other teens chased basketball dreams or music careers. Nobody saw the sharpened blade of justice he'd been crafting in silence. Not the judge, not the jury, and certainly not the two crooked cops who planted the weapon on Marcus in the first place. Holcomb's laughter echoed even as the gavel slammed down. That it was the last time Malik allowed himself to feel helpless. That night, he couldn't sleep. His thrift store suit, still wrinkled from the trial, hung on the same nail Marcus used to toss his jacket on after work. Their room, once filled with dreams and late-night laughs, now felt like a casket with the lid half-dash closed at a sunrise. Malik brewed a cup of cold coffee and spread out Marcus's case files across the kitchen table. He hadn't slept. He didn't need to. Not when the law, the real law, not the one Holcomb weaponized, was his only path forward. The appeal had to be airtight. He cited ineffective counsel, procedural violations, and, most damning, a time-stamped photo showing Marcus at a barber shop 3 miles away when the gas station robbery occurred 36 hours later. Malik marched into the courthouse in the same suit he wore during the trial. It clung to him now, soaked in sweat and determination. At the clerk's desk, a middle-aged woman named Sandra sneered at him. "You a lawyer?" she asked, her lips tight. "No, ma'am. I'm his brother, and I'm filing this under State Code 42. Subsection D." She rolled her eyes and tossed the envelope into the rejection bin. "Kids can't play lawyer here." "I know my rights," he said, locking eyes with her. "And I know you just violated them." The next day, Judge Holcomb called an emergency hearing. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. A teenager forcing a retrial? Malik walked into the room with nothing but a tattered notebook and a mind like steel. Holcomb tried to humiliate him, but when Malik pointed out that the prosecution had exceeded their time limit during closing arguments, violating state code, even the judge's face fell. "Retrial granted," Holcomb growled. "Now get out of my courtroom." Outside, Malik could hardly believe it. He'd cracked the system, if only a little. But Holcomb wasn't done. 2 hours later, 2 cops tackled Malik on his front porch and dragged him into a cruiser. One of them, Officer Benson, pulled a small bag of weed from his own pocket and discovered it in Malik's backpack. Malik didn't flinch. "You're planting evidence. That's a felony." They beat him anyway. Inside the precinct, they denied him a call until an older nurse, Miss Janelle, recognized him. She whispered a promise. "They won't get away with this." She called a lawyer friend up. By nightfall, Malik was free again. His ribs ached. His face was swollen. But he was walking. Holcomb's revenge didn't stop there. Within days, Malik's appeals, motions, and evidence started disappearing from court files. Paperwork filed on Monday wouldn't exist by Wednesday. A witness changed his testimony after a visit from unknown men. Malik knew the truth. Holcomb was playing God in a broken temple. But Malik wasn't alone anymore. Social media picked up his story. A young black teen fighting a crooked judge. Reporters circled. Hashtags trended. Protesters gathered outside the courthouse. And then it happened. At 3:12 a.m., a firebomb tore through Malik's apartment. He and his mother escaped. Barely. "Holcomb wants you silent," his mother whispered, wrapped in an emergency blanket. "I'll scream louder," Malik answered. The next day, while the ashes of their home still smoldered, a freelance journalist named Zoe McAllister handed Malik a microphone. "Say it," she urged, camera rolling. Malik stared straight into the lens. "My brother is innocent. Judge Holcomb is corrupt. And I'm not backing down." The video went viral in an hour. That night, Holcomb tried a new tactic. He paid a slick, white lawyer named Daniel Stroud to help Malik prepare for trial. Stroud talked smooth, promised power, but he was a snake that he doctored evidence, claimed Malik had forged police reports, and accused him of obstruction. The judge declared Malik under arrest mid-trial. The courtroom exploded. Reporters yelled. Protesters stormed the doors. And Zoe captured it all. When Malik was hauled away in handcuffs, bleeding from a baton strike, he didn't weep. He whispered into Zoe's camera, "Tell them the truth still burns." From solitary, he endured beatings, torture, waterboarding, and every night, they asked him to confess. Every night, he recited legal codes back at them, voice hoarse, eyes unbroken. "I am not the criminal," he whispered. "You are." One day, a blackguard slipped Malik a burner phone. Just 2 minutes of freedom. It was enough. Zoe broadcast Malik's voice, broken but alive, across every news station in America. The outcry was thunderous. Streets flooded with rage. Students, teachers, veterans. Millions rose for Malik. The government was forced to act. Agents stormed Holcomb's chambers, dragging him out mid-bourbon sip. His empire fell. Private prisons, crooked prosecutors, cops on the take. All exposed, but vengeance still ran deep. Inside his cell, Holcomb smiled as he whispered to a visitor, "We're not done." That night, Marcus Townsend, Malik's brother, was stabbed in prison that he died in surgery. Malik stood beside the gurney as his brother's heartbeat faded, a scream burning in his chest. 2 hours later, Malik returned to court. His face was raw with grief, his heart hollow, but his voice was strong. "Your Honor," he said, staring down a new judge, "Darius Townsend was murdered under your protection. The man who ordered it wore your robes. I won't rest until every name on his payroll faces the light." The judge nodded. "Proceed." The retrial moved forward, with new evidence, with Zoe's footage, with testimonies from guards who flipped, and then, the twist. Malik discovered that Holcomb wasn't the kingpin. His own uncle was, Joseph Townsend, a corporate mogul, a silent partner in the prison-for-profit scheme, a man who once vanished from their lives. "You were never supposed to rise," he told Malik, sneering. "You were supposed to obey." Malik looked him in the eye. "I did rise. And I'm going to bury everything you built." With Zoe's help, Malik leaked hundreds of files, names, numbers, bribes. 1 week later, federal agents dismantled the entire network. Coast to coast, judges fell, CEOs resigned, dozens jailed. But nothing brought Marcus back to as the dust settled. Malik stood alone on the courthouse steps. A hero, a survivor, a broken heart in a borrowed blazer. He raised one fist to the sky. "This fight isn't over," he said, and the crowd roared, "The end."